Mr. Venkatesh Rajgopal, keynote speaker for this morning, and my friend, Mr. P.G. Subramaniam, Mr. K.K. Raman, Mr. Ravi Ganapati, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to be here at this conference where the theme is the threads of excellence. It is a very interesting topic. It is a very powerful topic, but I don't know what I am doing here speaking on that topic. I have been a party to this conference for a while. I have been associated with Mr. P.G. Subramaniam for over 15 years now. And he and Mr. Raman have helped me and are continuously helping me and our organization in the path to excellence. So that itself would say that we are more students and we are in a journey. The second thing what I did is, since I have been associated with this conference and with Mr. P.G. Subramaniam in particular, I did point him with names and telephone numbers of friends of mine, including Mr. Rajgopal, who have a lot of achievements in this journey of excellence. And I did that with a particular purpose, that he would spare both you and me from being here on the dais, but I think he didn't take the hint. The next time I'll be very overt. Nevertheless, I am delighted to be here today. And I would start by what Aristotle said, that excellence is what we do repeatedly. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. So the threads of excellence in itself portrays that this is a continuum. It is not a journey with an end, but it is a continuum where you constantly strive to be better, to deliver better. And there are numerous examples that we can look at from daily life as students of organization, as students of just watching human life. And let me take you through a few examples which I thought you will appreciate. First, let's take the case of, we all go to banks. Now we use ATMs, but there are still instances where we go to banks and we want to draw money, so you encash your check. So you give your check. In some bank, the moment you give your check, the check becomes a token number. And in the token number, when you reach the queue, end of the queue, let's say you're drawing 1,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees, the teller looks at the check and gives you 1,000 rupees, you draw it and go. That is one model. There is another model where you have given the check for encashment, and when you reach the end of the queue and when you reach the teller looks at the check and looks at you and says, "Good morning, Mr. Srinivasan. I have hundreds and fifties. In what denomination would you like your 1,000 rupees? Both are doing the same function. They are disbursing your own money which you are drawing from your account. But the way in which the second one has approached the task is very different. And I think that that would be one of the key criterias for excellence in any walk of life. Mr. PG has alluded to A.R. Rahman or Sachin Tendulkar. And in business life, we can have many such instances. For example, you can think of Steve Jobs, or closer home, you can think of Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani. It is not that there are others who did not have the same talent or the knowledge which was there. But what was unique is the way in which these two people thought. Mr. Ambani thought of a scale that was extremely different from what anyone of his knowledge or stature would have thought. Not only did he think of that scale, after that he went about doing that, achieving whatever was needed to achieve that scale, and he put all other things aside. There was a single-minded focus of moving towards a particular level of achievement. The methods of achievement can be orthodox, unorthodox, that would depend on the situation. But the fact is that given a particular level of talent, given a particular level of resources, given a particular level of awareness, how you make a difference in focusing towards that goal and what you achieve or what you set others to achieve, I think is a very unique process, and that is why it is a thread of excellence. Now, I have spoken to you about Mr. Ambani, or even in Steve Jobs' case, the transition from a Macintosh to iPod, and iPod to an iPhone. Each of these are very, very unique innovations. So people look at the innovation part of it and think that it is something that was done in a lab. No, it was not done in a lab. It was done in a quest for being very close to the customer and a quest for understanding what is actually required and how to deliver it in a manner that is unique, that is different, that brings enormous value. It is not necessary, therefore, that all the people who are in the quest for excellence need to be innovative or need to think big. There are other examples as well where the innovation could come from somewhere and the success would not have necessarily attended to that innovation. And one of them is, since cricket was used, let me take an example of cricket. Today, the success of cricket, if you want to describe what is the most successful cricket event, I think without doubt everyone will say it's the IPL. And there, to a lesser extent, the one-day internationals, and then to a lesser extent the Ashes or all those. But the origin of cricket itself in its present form today started off with something I think goes back to my student days, which was started in Australia by a guy called Kerry Packer. Some of you may be familiar with it. He was the first guy who attempted and said that, listen, cricket, you should play with colored clothing. You should play in the night. He changed the entire face of cricket. Maybe he was not very successful with that idea because that idea ran for a very limited time. But in that limited time, what he was able to impart was something extremely unique. And that brought in excellence. So here is an example of excellence in thought, which was developed by someone else, but an excellence in execution and brand that is being developed now. At that time, cricketers used to, I think, earn a very handsome fee of 1,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees a match. You can't imagine, you can't hire even a 5th division league cricketer at 2,000 rupees a match today. It transformed the way a game which was played by relatively middle-aged people in white flannels, 5 days, and people who did not have work, going and attending that with no commercial proposition, into a game which is played by people who are very young, very physically fit, and which draws billions of dollars of money, where people who are involved in the game, be they on the playing side or be they on the administrative side, are superstars in their own right. And here you have a commercial proposition that is uniquely different from what was there. This is a classic case of the thread of excellence. It will obviously lead to much better things.